Hey everybody, thanks for watching.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. we'll start with that. Actually, today I wanted to start with you are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are grey. Because today skies are grey.
Oh, skies are great, not blue.
It's been raining, hailing. Oh my goodness. Chaos in Adelaide the last couple of days. Welcome. Arlena and Tanya.
And we're streaming on 2 devices at the same time.
Amazing. We're so technological lately. It's going cuckoo. At this moment as well, this is as well streaming on 4 different channels. Amazing.
Yes,
between yours
absolutely.
and mine.
Between hers, mine, and everywhere else we can stream.
And everywhere else, use the technology as much as you can to our advantage. And I just want to remind you, we have been learning how to do this stuff step by step. So I was crap with that. I'm still learning and we're getting better at it. Okay. But today, we're not talking about technology. Today, we're actually talking about money.
Money.
So,
and our relationship with money, our thought processes with money. And so we're going to talk about a few different things. And then we're going to, Alina and I thought we'd better come up with something to help break your fears and your barriers around money. And we're going to create something. We're going to tell you about it at the end of the video, right? So hang on.
Very, very special.
Right.
But yeah, all in good time. So I wanted to talk about money for multiple reasons. One, it's been one of my major blockage. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. I had some lovely messages. Thank you, everyone who's been watching my videos and my posts and responding. I'm so overwhelmed with the positivity and how many people have been able to relate to our stories. So it's been really great. But money's been as well one of the major things that came to me. A lot of people have this type of issues. So we're going to start talking about fears of money, okay?
Yes.
Tanya, what have been your biggest fears with money?
I think
money?
For me, I've had a lot of different fears and conditioning, how I was conditioned from a young child. My parents didn't have really, they worked really hard, didn't have much money when we were little. So I grew up with having to, if I wanted money, I had to earn it. So at the age of 6, I used to do little hobbies for people in the street and to earn the money to buy my lollies. And at the age of 13, I started working, first job was picking raspberries, and then I got a job in the supermarket. And at 14 and a half, I started my apprenticeship in cooking. So even back then, I remember I was only earning $170 a week, working 40-hour a week, but there was always that lack of money, do we not have enough money? And as the economy changes, life changes, we just realize do we have a love of money, or do we have a hate relationship with money? And so I'm going to ask you that question today. Tell us what your thoughts are at the moment. As the world economy is not good, a lot of people are living in fear and wondering what's happening in the future.
Prices rising up, should I say, really, the currency losing its value.
We do live in a fear-based society. There's no doubt there. So if we think about, does that still condition us on how we should think now and that kind of thing? So, I was grown up with the thought was to earn money and never spend it, hold it in the bank and use it for your future in your life and things like that. So that was my conditioning growing up, was to not spend my money. That was what my grandfather really ingrained in me.
Put it under the mattress.
My parents just never really had money. And here's a funny story. My mum always said, when we were kids, because I never cleaned my bedroom, if you don't, Mum used to say to us when she wanted our bedroom cleaned, she would always say, the tax man's coming. And if you don't put all your stuff away, the tax man's going to take all your toys away,
What a horrible thing.
Yeah, it was the weirdest thing. It's one of those things that's stuck in my head. It's never going to go. So, but that's the conditioning of your money story and how we brought up and that kind of thing. And then my husband and I've always worked really, really hard for everything we have. And we implemented systems and processes in our life to realize that if we wanted something, we never borrowed money and we didn't put stuff on credit. So for the last 20 years, if we ever wanted something, we we purchased it. So, so we did a different,
Yeah,
What
and
was yours like?
same with me. A lot of the conditioning, although I have to admit, again, every level has its devil. But for me, same thing. So my parents had a restaurant. They worked really, really hard. Like most of the time I was on my own because they were always working. And even as a small child, I had to make my own money.
Yeah.
For example, we had this little donkey, you know, like you go in the shopping center and you got the little car, you put the coins in, yeah? So we had a donkey. And for me to be able to go on the donkey, I had to actually work. I had to help out, clear out the tables or whatever, help in the kitchen and whatnot. So from a very young age, I knew if I want money and I want to buy whatever, I needed to work same thing really, really hard. And then as a young entrepreneur as well, after my parents split, my mom didn't have much, much money to give me. And so I invented all sorts of things like you. Like I used to take to school a whole pizza and they'll sell the slices individually to make money.
Isn't that interesting?
I was making bracelets, all sorts of things. I even during recess was me and another 2 boys because I was always with the boys. Big tomboy that I was.
Me too.
But the boss, obviously I was the boss, nothing to go with. And we used to create like little comedies and songs. We would rewrite songs, make them funny.
Yep.
And then we would charge the kids at recess to come and watch us.
Like theatre.
Like theatre,
yeah. Cool.
Come and watch
That's
us. But I've seen my mom struggle for most of her life, bringing up 2 kids on her own. She was always working. There was never enough money to go by. And so there was this constant struggle. And I wanted to have a different. But still, even when I got to Australia, I got stuck in the rat race because we got a mortgage. I was working full time. And so, even though I had money, it was still this constant chasing money. And after I became a single mom, same thing, because the pain was so strong that I wanted to have a better life and especially give a better life to my son. I was constantly chasing and working so hard because I thought that was the only way. But as we say before as well, when you chase, you're repelling things. You're not actually calling them in. And as well, I was doing all the manifestation, visualization and affirmation, but it was not working. Why? Because it came from a place of scarcity. Like
the lack of scarcity.
Correct. Even though I was doing the visualization and affirmation and everything, inside really, I was scared where I'm going to find the next money to pay the rent, to feed ourselves, to, I don't know, fix the car, whatever. So it was always coming from a place of scarcity because we did not have.
Yes, yeah. I think that was one thing I only learned about sort of in the last few years was that lack of scarcity. So let's talk about how we speak, because one of the things that I never realised, and you may not ever realise this. So this weekend, have a think about how you speak about money. So if you're having any conversation with somebody over the next, 3, 4, 5, or even 7 days, because this is going to formulate the challenge that we've decided we're going to do next week for you guys, is to think about how many times when you're having a conversation with somebody or yourself, how many times do you say, don't, won't, can't, I don't have enough money, I can't afford this, and it was just that I don't have.
I can't afford that.
I can't afford it.
I can't do it.
And then we talk about if that lack and scarcity. So when you actually speak it and say it, it is really that law of attraction that it keeps calling it into you and your universe. There is absolutely no doubt there that is actually how it works. So when you change your speech around that lack and scarcity and talk more about, one of the things I have 2 reminders in my calendar every day, one at 7:30 and one at 3 o'clock. I love money and money loves me. So I have now learnt to have a very different appreciation of money, and I learnt to even be thankful and grateful that I get a bill in the mail, because by having a bill, I now have the money to be able to pay for the bills, So it was moving really out of the thought process and where things were beforehand and moving into a new way of thinking. And I think that changes that lack and scarcity. And one of the books that we read like in the community that we have, really changes that mindset and reframes what we think and say. So it's very important to know that how we speak brings us either in lack of scarcity or it brings us into that change of flow state. So we might talk about that another day. But
and
yeah.
I'll give you just one magic word: yet. Okay,
Yet.
yet. So, for example, instead of saying I can't afford it, I can't afford that yet.
Yeah.
Because if you just say I can't afford it or I can't do it, you're blocking yourself. You're telling your brain that's it. We can't go forward. But if you say I can't afford it yet, you're leaving it open. So in this particular moment, you don't have the money to buy that, but it's yet. So it's gonna come at some point.
Yes.
Okay, magic word. And remember, whatever you say to yourself, if you say I can or I can't, you're right. Because you decide. You decide. You're telling yourself what you can or can't do.
You're telling yourself you can't do it. Yeah, exactly.
So if you say I can't afford, you're not going to be able to.
And so we love to show people how to change that reframing and move into that abundance mindset and money flow. So I suppose it's really coming back down to that, we were really conditioned from our parents, our child upbringing, what we're taught at school, the environment, everything that's on social media, on the news at the moment is where we're conditioned from now. So I really I love to sometimes look at the news. There gets a point where I turn it off and I just go, because everything is about, lack and scarcity and everything about people not having enough money to pay for mortgages and things like that. So what we do is we love to show people, how to change that story. How are we going to do things to change different stories? And for me, several years ago, when I actually came into this sphere and started learning about that, I thought, geez, even though I was a really positive person, I thought, wow, there is actually some things there I needed to stop saying and change many things and start changing. It was just putting little practices into daily routine, daily thought, and things like that to create some change and to rewire our brains. So we are capable of really rewiring ourselves and untapping from the mainframe, which everybody tells us what we have to do all the time and how we should live life all the time and who we should be. We don't have to be anybody but ourselves. We can freely, live above everybody else if we actually choose to do so. And that's what we're really doing, is raising the vibration of people to live a better life. Yeah,
and because all start within. And one thing that just popped into mind looking at relationships with money is the other day I was actually watching again Alex Tripod.
Yeah, she's awesome.
I love her. If you're listening and watching, thank you, Alex. You're amazing. Anyway, and she was talking about the relationship with money. So imagine that money is your girlfriend or your boyfriend, okay? Would you really talk to it the way you do? Like every time they leave, it's like, oh no, don't leave, stay here. I'll hide you under the bed. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna put your girlfriend or boyfriend tied up under the bed because you're too scared that they're gonna leave you? Okay, no, you need to let the money come and let the money go and talk to money as well. So we've been taught money is evil, money is the root of evil, the love of money is but money doesn't grow on trees. My son actually said it does.
Yeah, he's only 7 or 8, isn't he?
8.
And so this little boy has been his mindset has been transformed just in the last few months, and just to see the way a child now has that concept. So, you're now actually really rewiring him and his education on how to receive money and how to see money in a different light. So he's going to be an awesome entrepreneur, probably 9 or 10 years of age. And this is what we can do. We can actually teach our kids to really do something very different and innovative, and instead of being plugged into the mainstream.
And it started with us because they're absorbing what we do. And I'll give you just a small example. While we were away, we were away for 2 months traveling. We were in Nimbin. We stopped in Nimbin. And we went into a shop, and Adrian saw a ring with a snake, and he liked it, and he wanted to buy it. I said, look, it's $20, for the ring. I'll give you the money, but then you haven't got any more spending money. And he's like, fine. And he bought the ring and he put it on, and we walk away. And then 5 minutes later, he turns around and said, I don't actually like it. Oh, are you serious? And he's like, yeah, I don't like it. Can I sell it? And I look at him, how are you going to sell it? I'm like, what are you talking about? You're going to sell it?
Sell it?
no, I'll sell it. I'm like, okay, go for it. If you can do it, go for it. So he walked in another shop that I was looking at some books for on mushrooms and stuff like that. And he goes to the lady, said, do you like the ring? She's like, yeah, I like it. I said, do you want to buy it? He sold the ring.
To the lady
He put it in his head that he doesn't like it. He's going to sell it. 5 minutes later, he sold the bloody ring. I was
didn't make a profit.
No, we're getting, I'm teaching him profit as we go along. But he was satisfied that he's got his money back and he could spend that on something else.
Beautiful.
But can you see how it's all up to our mindset? If we decide that we can do something, doesn't matter what it is, we can. We can make it happen. And around money, same thing. It's how do we want this relationship with money to be? Do you want money in your life or not? And look, I have throughout this journey, plenty of people, turning the other way on me, saying, "Oh, you're just money driven, money this, money that. That's all you care." No, I don't actually care about money. I love money, but not because of the money. I don't idolize money. I love what I can do with that.
What you can do with it, yeah.
Guys, I've been hungry, I've been homeless, and I can assure, and I was happy as well, mind you, because I'm a very positive person and I find the beautiful things in everything. But trust me, life is way easier when you do have the money. I'm way happier now that I can go and buy a Lego set for my son without thinking, can I actually afford it? Or doesn't matter what. So regardless, what people say, you live way better with money. There's nothing to do there. It's just not idolizing them. It
can be the root of all evil. So
can be the root of all evil.
Tell us your thoughts in the comments because we'd like to hear a bit about, we love you watching and just hearing what we're talking about. So to look at, the relationship with money, one of the things, first couple of things that I learned out of some of these books I read was to hold a large sum of money. So what I did was, this was the start of COVID when this happened for me. Yeah. I just went and drew $6,000 cash out of the bank. And I put it on the bed and I rolled in it. And I've never actually held a large sum of money, like real cash in the hand. And it was the weirdest challenge to do. I'm like, I don't know how it actually made me feel. It was kind of weird. It was like, I don't know if it made me feel uncomfortable or weird, but excited. And I was like, and it was dirty. Yeah. And that was really what I realized was how dirty money is. And you know what? And then one of the next things I learned was that money is only numbers. So if you think frequency is, so if you look at the stock exchanges, the trade markets and all that kind of stuff, that's just numbers. In the world, there's only, I can't quote the number, but there's only like 5% actual money or cash in the world to what we say we have the rest. And the rest is just numbers, right?
Digital. It's energy.
It's all digital. So when shit happens, like a world crisis goes on, currency and frequency changes and moves. And this is exactly how this works. And I was like, this is really interesting. So I started to rewire things. I started to rewire my relationship with money and how I handled it and how I felt with it. Because over the last couple of years, we went into a cashless society and all in cards. So I started moving cash in my hand. So that was really different. And so what I do now is I regularly hold large volumes of cash. And it's the weirdest thing for me. It may be for you too, but or you may never experience it and want to experience it. So what we do is very different and it's unusual. So yeah.
But if you don't have $6,000 in cash, like I remember I didn't. So what you can do, I actually went to office work and printed fake money. Okay, $50 bills, $100 bills, and I just put it on my walls, on my toilet. So when I sit on the toilet, I can see them. I've got a check that I wrote to myself. I got that from the story of Jim Carrey.
And the money, the money check that's in the magic. So we might, we're going to tell you what we're going to offer, and then we probably will get you to go and actually purchase the book called The Magic. It's best to go and actually buy a hard copy because it gives you a gratitude, 28 days of gratitude. And one of the processes is actually to write yourself a money check out to what you want. I've done this 3 occasions and I got everything I wanted to the cent. Like this is the most powerful thing about manifestation, and at the time I didn't know if I really wanted any more money in my life. And I was like, I actually would like this, this, and this, and this, and this. So the last money check I wrote out was for $258,000. And I got it. Nice. But what I did, like one of these things you learn is you actually got to write a home for it, because if there is no home for money to come in and out and go to, this is where that creates that energy block. So it stops money from going through, because it's going to stay in your bank account, and money doesn't like staying in bank accounts. It actually needs a place to come in and go out.
It just doesn't like banks.
Doesn't like banks.
But
we don't like banks either.
Can you as well share, you had this blockage, we were talking about it the other day, that you had this massive block because you thought you didn't want any more money.
I didn't want any more money.
So she was blocking herself.
I was blocking myself energetically, also in my business, and the money was a couple of years ago, my friend Lorraine picked me up on this, and she's helped clear that for me, because she's like a rock star energy business cleaner. She cleans out your spiritual and energy on it. And she did she does it on Zoom, which was really awesome. Even though she could come in, she's like, no, we're going to do this on Zoom. So she took me through like a hypnotic spiritual session, and did a full energetic spiritual cleaning block of my business, myself and my business. And no joke. And what I was saying to myself, and even saying to other people, was that I didn't need any more money.
So she wasn't getting any.
Slap that crap out of me. So, but sometimes it takes somebody else to pull that up out of you, and to realize that is, I was saying it and it was speaking to it. And at that time, nobody was really coming into my field, and I could really feel that was the energetic block. So the second that Lorraine did that and got off the call, my phone just started going crazy. And I said to Lorraine, wow, this is amazing stuff. Yeah, I think everybody should see Lorraine. She's incredible. That just makes you realize what we say we do bring into our universe and that kind of thing. So let's talk about, we want to give you a tip today, and then we're going to tell you what we're going to do after that.
Yes. So I reckon that I'm going to give you 2 tips, and then I'll pass it on to Tanya for her tip. So my tip number 1 is affirmation and visualization. Like, talk to money. Speak it into existence. Like today I was saying, I'm so grateful to money because, and just add whatever you want. For me, today was, I'm so grateful to money because it allows me to have amazing experiences in life. Okay. But also, whenever you go out and spend the money, it doesn't matter if it's for a bill or whatever, when you're handing out the cash or the card, whatever that is, I prefer cash, be thankful. Say, thank you, money, for allowing me to purchase this or to pay for this bill or whatever. And be grateful to it, that you actually have it. Doesn't matter if it's going out. You need to be grateful to it, when it's go out. So when it comes in easier.
How does that make you feel, just thinking that and saying that?
How does it make you feel?
How does it make you feel? Tell us.
It's very uncomfortable in the beginning, at least it was for me.
Yeah. One thing I just want to extend on that, and this is what I read back. I'm just going back through the magic book again. I think some of these books are so powerful that you actually do need to do the process at least 3 times a year. So I actually have 2 specific books, maybe 3 now, that I do 3 times a year, because it just keeps reminding me, rewiring my brain, and knowing that I can do these things. So the affirmation for the money and that kind of thing was, do you think, I'm going to ask you a serious question here, tell me in the comments, so do you really think that you are a grateful person? Are you grateful for things that you do during the day? And this was what I read last night. And in the book, it says, most people will say, do you say thank you, wherever you go? Do you say thank you? And do you think that's just being grateful? Well, it's actually not. So being grateful is actually a lot more than that. So we'll take you through that journey, which is what we're going to talk about next. Is so not just saying thank you, but it's saying to feel it and to say thank you, thank you, thank you. You need to say that thank you 3 times to really pull out and feel that gratitude of actually really being grateful, and to be grateful for many other things, like when you walk out of a shop and saying, I'm so grateful I had a really amazing person that just served me. And if I always have a great experience with somebody in the shop, even in the deli, no matter where it is, I'm always grateful to them. And even to
tell them,
yeah,
so thank you for being so lovely.
Yeah, even the people that are, the housemaid or anybody, because we're all equal at the end of the day. Whatever job we do doesn't define who we are. So, you know, a circumstance will always maybe sometimes bring us back in life to experience something because we're not grateful for things. So, yeah. All right. Are we going to talk about what we're going to do offer next week?
We will.
Do you want to finish anything else before we do that?
No, I think we actually talked about everything that I wanted to talk about today. But so next week we're gonna bring you something very special. Okay, we want to put together just 1 hour webinar, so it's not gonna be very long. But in that hour, we're gonna break down what fears you might have, how to overcome them. We're probably gonna do a small meditation as well that we're gonna guide you through to overcome whatever blockages. First of all, to recognize, being aware of what is it that is blocking you at this point in your life.
Yep.
Okay. And then from there, how can you move on to the next step and open up the abundance gate?
Yeah. So if you're going to do anything for yourself in the next week, is get pen to paper. Go and get a notepad. And the first activity I want you to do, so we're going to set a time, probably say Saturday morning next week or something. We'll work that out.
We'll let you know. We still have to work that
out the
time.
So tell us in the comments you want to be a part of it. We're going to create a private Zoom call, be for an hour, and we're going to give you a series of activities. So the first thing I want you to do this week is to get pen to paper and write down your relationship with money. So if at all in your life you've had a bad relationship with money, you're going to write out the story, you know, of I've always had a bad relationship with money because of this. Like, just journal it out and tell yourself why. You're not going to tell us or anybody else. This is for you to release this stuff from internally and bring it out. So this is really, really powerful thing to do. And then we're going to take you through an exercise on how to release it. And then we're going to give you, on that call, we're going to give you a new activity to do over the next 7 days to powerfully change how your life operates in the fear, remove fear and bring the love of money and change your life and your story with your life.
So you're going to have, you can create a brand new identity and a brand new narrative from how do you want to go forward? How do you want money to show up in your life?
Yeah.
Okay. So
that's probably really about it. So we just thought we'd randomly get on today, have a chat with you about money. Because money is the frequency of life, you know. We're not talking about having to earn abundance of money or things like that. You can live life very simply by just really being in love with everything, you know. So that's what we're going to do next week.
Yeah. And just one last thing to be specific, okay, is when we talk as well about money coming in and financial freedom, I'm not talking about you becoming a billionaire or even wanting to. If that's not what resonates with you, you don't have to. We're talking about what is financial freedom, is just being able to pay all your expenses and have a bit left over as well to enjoy life. Okay, that's all it is. It's the all
first part of the journey,
and it's different from everyone depending on your lifestyle. Like someone like me, that I'm used to living on a smaller budget, like 4 to 5 grand a month. That's all we need to survive, and not just survive, but live comfortably. Yeah. Okay, so we're not talking about big money. It's up to you what you decide that you want to do and how much wealth you need in your life to live.
Absolutely.
Exceptionally. Anyway, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Much love, lots of light and blessing. Take care, guys. We love you.
Bye.